Hi, Jennifer Harpham here from the Office of Student Financial Aid. Hopefully by now you've received your financial aid offer, but you're probably wondering what it all means. I'm here today to help make some sense of that and to hopefully clarify what could otherwise be a confusing document. So on the financial aid offer, the first thing that we see is the academic year. Now an academic year is just like your year in high school. It starts in August and it runs through May. That's the academic year. At the university, within the academic year, we have two semesters, the fall semester and the spring semester. So when we award financial aid, we give you an annual award and then we divide it up equally between fall and spring semesters. And you'll see an example of that in a few seconds when we scroll on down. The next thing I want to point out on the award offer is your student ID number. Your student ID number is extremely important. It is what allows us to pull up your records and identify you when you come into the office or you call us on the phone. So please be sure to have your student ID number handy whenever you're reaching out to us. Also, when you go through the new student orientation process and get your Zip ID card, this number will be printed on the back. So please carry that whenever you're on campus. So let's get to the good stuff. As we scroll on down on the award letter, the first category that we see is titled Grants and Scholarships. Now, grants and scholarships, as you can see, are gift aid and no repayment is needed. This is free money that's given to you to help you pay for your cost of attending college. So in our example, our student has 3 scholarships and a federal Pell Grant. And you can see over on the right-hand side what those totals are. You can see the yearly total and then how that is divided equally between the fall and spring semesters. So the type of financial aid that you'll see in this category is scholarships that are awarded by the university. That would include scholarships awarded at the time of admission, scholarships awarded by your college if you've applied to their scholarship programs, and then also scholarships awarded by the Office of Student Financial Aid if you made our freshman priority filing deadline of January 31st. So those scholarships are awarded by the university. You may also have scholarships coming in from outside the university or a third party, and that would be community scholarships or scholarships through your high school. Those scholarships are not added to your financial aid offer, but rather those checks or payments are made directly to the Office of Student Accounts. Student Accounts then takes those funds and applies them as a payment directly to your charges for the semester. So for example, if your charges for the fall semester were $6,000 and you had a $2,000 scholarship for the fall semester, they would automatically debit and you would have a balance left of $4,000. So then all of your other types of financial aid could apply toward that remaining balance. The other type of financial aid you'll see in this category includes grants. You can see here that our sample student has the federal Pell Grant. Grants are also gift aid, do not have to be repaid. Grants are the result of your application, the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So when you report on there your income, your household size, all those variables that they're asking you for, the federal government determines if you are eligible for the federal Pell Grant. There's also an additional federal grant called the Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant that you may see in this award category, and also a state grant from Ohio, if you're an Ohio resident, called the Ohio College Opportunity Grant. So this is always the best type of financial aid, and we try to maximize grants and scholarships as much as we can for students before we move on to the next category, which you'll see are student loans. So student loans are loans that you borrow while you're in school and you repay after you graduate from school. So when you enter into school, you take out the student loans. No payments are required the entire time you're in school. And then when you graduate, you have what's called a grace period. It's 6 more months of no payments required before you enter into repayment. And that 6-month grace period is meant to help you find a job and start preparing yourself financially for those monthly payments. There's 2 types of student loans you might see on your award offer. There's the DL subsidized loan. Now DL stands for direct loan. That means that the government is the lender. The government is directly lending you these funds for your cost of attending college. So the subsidized loan means that it is interest-free while you are in school. The word subsidized basically means the government pays the interest for you. You don't have to pay on that. While you are in school, it's an interest-free loan. The unsubsidized loan, unfortunately, just the opposite. The interest does begin accruing on that as soon as you receive disbursement. Again, you're not required to pay on that while you're in school, but just know the interest is adding up. Certainly, if you want to make payments on the interest while you're in school, you're welcome to do so, and that's a very smart thing if you can do that. So scrolling on down, we see our summary of estimated costs. So the estimated costs for the year are based on what we know to be our tuition and fees now, and we use that as a basis. The tuition and fees actually aren't set until May or June, but our estimate is probably very close to what you will be paying once that is set. So we estimate that at $12,320 for the year. So the way that the school bills is on a semester basis. So this is the amount for the year, but you would pay that half in fall, half in spring. So $12,320, that's a full-time student, main campus, bachelor's degree seeking student. You may have a different amount on your award offer in this category, and that's because you may be a student at a regional campus or maybe pursuing an associate degree, not a bachelor's degree. So that might look a little different for you. The next category is estimated room and meal plan. So room basically means your dorm or your residence hall. And the meal plan, obviously, if you live on campus, you need to have a meal plan so you can have regular meals. So both of those combined are an estimated $12,960 for the year. Again, half of that in the fall semester, half of that in the spring semester. Now, this category is one where the student actually can impact that estimated cost depending on which residence hall they choose, which meal plan they choose. There's a wide variety of residence halls and rates as well as meal plans. So students should do a little investigating and figure out what's the best fit for them and then make those choices. If you want to look those up, they're on the Residence Life and Housing website, and you can see all the rates for the different residence halls. So this is a full-time bachelor's degree seeking student living on campus. So they have tuition fees, room, and meal plan. So we add these up and then we subtract out the financial aid that we've awarded, and that includes our grants and scholarships and the student loans. So this student has a total aid package of $19,995, and that's going to be automatically deducted from their cost each semester. The remaining balance due, the estimated amount out of pocket that the student may have to come up with, is $5,285. So after the student has maximized all of the financial aid that they can receive, they'll still have a balance due of about $5,285. Now again, this is for the year, so half of that due in the fall, half of that due in the spring semester. There's another category that I want to take a minute and talk about. It's called indirect costs. And indirect costs are those that are not billed by the university. So we're talking about books and supplies the student would purchase prior to the semester beginning. Things for the dorm, health and beauty products, personal products, transportation, if the student is commuting or even if the student is bringing their car to campus and then driving home on the weekends, there's some costs there that the student would need to plan for. So indirect costs for the year we estimate at about $3,520. So when we add that indirect cost, which again is cost that the student is taking care of, not something billed by the university, but a real cost, something that they have to consider, that brings our out-of-pocket responsibility to $8,805. So then the question becomes, what are our options to cover that amount, that balance due, that is not covered by the student's financial aid? So we have a couple of options. We have a payment plan where the student can put down a deposit, which is 25% of whatever the remaining balance due is, and then they can pay the remaining amount off in installments throughout the semester. There's also a PLUS loan, and PLUS stands for Parent Loan for Undergraduate Students. And parents can borrow these loans. They can choose to repay while the student's in school, or they can defer until after the student has graduated. But the loan is the parent's responsibility, so they are the ones that will be repaying it. You will see on the award offer at the bottom, there is an estimate for how much the parent could apply for and receive on the PLUS loan. And then also it talks about a private loan estimate. A private loan is a loan through a bank or another lender. And that is a loan that the student will apply for. They are credit-based loans, so the student will probably need a cosigner. And then the student will be responsible for repaying that. So for a family that's trying to keep any loan debt in the student's name, a private loan might be a good idea. But again, it will require a cosigner for most students. Students can start applying for loans in May. The government usually is ready to start doing that. So our plan is to send you a follow-up letter that has your next steps in it. So if you want to borrow student loans, your parent wants to borrow parent loans, we'll be sending you step-by-step instructions, usually end of April, early May, on exactly how to do that. Okay. So that is our financial aid award offer in a nutshell. I do encourage you to reach out to the Office of Student Financial Aid if you have any questions. Our call center is open 24/7, 365. We also have online chat. If you go to the website www.uakron.edu/financial aid, FinAid, you will see that we do have an online presence as well, and lots of articles that you can read through. So please let us know if you have questions. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the fall.